What up, peeps? It's your girl, Dash, coming back to your Real Takes. Today I was doing a review to the movie The Girl in the Spider's Web that is starring Claire Foy and is directed by Fede Alvarez. Now, for me, when I'd heard that they were going to be making this, let's say about a year or so ago, I was none too happy because, to be quite honest with you, just getting over the fact that they had done one back in 2011 starring Rooney Mara and Daniel Craig took a lot for me to like that one because let me be clear. I prefer the ones with Noomi Rapace. I loved her in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Girl Who Kicks the Hornet's Nest, and of course The Girl Who Played with Fire. All of them were great. Noomi Rapace is awesome. And it was just a lot, but then when it did come out with Rooney Mara, I actually enjoyed their take on it. So I was looking forward to them continuing the franchise, but then just communication, not even schedules, conflict, with the movie companies, whatever, with the director, and then it just kept getting pushed back, and then it just fell, apart. Of course, Daniel Craig's doing James Bond, he's perfectly fine, and then Rooney Mara doing other roles, whichever. So it was kind of bummed. I was kind of not happy about it, but then it fell off the radar, and then all of a sudden I'm hearing that Claire Foy was going to come on board. Now, going from Rooney Mara to Claire Foy. Now, granted, she's recently, of course, does the show The Crown. She won a Golden Globe, whichever, and all that. She's doing very well. I think she's also in The First Man. Seeing her in those movies, and seeing this, I wasn't sure how I would take to her in this movie. Now, with this particular one, of course, like I said, it's directed by Fede Alvarez. This is about, of course, Lisbeth Salander, being requested by a gentleman who used to be with NSA who was fired, whatever, and all, to deal with a program that he's created that is basically code for that could be used in nuclear, kind of nuclear warfare, nuclear weapons of sorts. And he needs her to hack the particular program, whatever, to get with it. Now, it has a certain code that needs to be used in order for you to open it up, and be able to deal with it. Now, since it's now been given to her, there's another agent who's on the lookout to try to get it back, and deal with it the right way, whichever. And that character is played by Lakeith Stansfield. Now, I will say first and foremost, I did enjoy the movie for what it was, but it was something about it overall that I just wasn't vibing with it, whatever, and all that. It's not to say that it's cliche, whatever, and all that, because this is like a new way of them telling, the Dragon Tattoo story, and it was just something about her playing her. Just it was, I wasn't the excitement of it all, whatever, and all that. The Elizabeth and all that. I wasn't getting that vibe with her like I thought I really was, and I'm really surprised to say that. Overall, I mean, the movie, you have your action, you have your, your stuff with the technology, the gadgets, or whichever, but it was just like something was missing to me. I don't know what it was because it was just not doing a lot for me. Now, I will say, the characters, like I said, Lakeith Stanfield in this. There's a guy, of course, he plays Mikhail Blomkvist, and then his name was, I want to say it's Severe Gudnason. I might be saying it wrong. My apology if I butchered it, but it's really hard for me to say his name. Him playing Mikhail Blomkvist, he was okay. I prefer the Daniel Craig one, whichever, no, but he was okay. I feel like they didn't know really what to do with him per se at times, whatever, and all that, with his particular character. Now with Lisbeth, they added other layers to her, I will say. You did notice that besides her dealing with the situation of trying to get her laptop back, it gets taken by some Russian thugs and all that. Also, another layer of knowing about her past life with her family, certain things, traumatic things that she experienced growing up, whichever, that part. And then of course coming into contact, or face to face with, what she thought was a ghost, and come to find out, a sibling, who she thought had passed. And I'm not giving that away because they gave it away in the trailer. I'm just like, that was the one pet peeve I had about this, because that is another pet peeve just in general as of lately with these trailers. They seem to give you too much. And they basically, if they didn't say anything about that, then that would have been something of a good reveal for me during the movie. But, I don't know what it is. I don't know if they felt like they needed to give us more to get us into the door. But people who follow the movies and follow, of course, the books. Now, I didn't read all the books. I know of the first one, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but the other two I did not. So I'm not familiar with that. But I know some people are scathing it, for that. So, I'm not going to go there with that, whichever. But, when you read the novel and they don't make it close enough to the novel, a lot of them kind of really can truly get in their feelings about that, because they take, good stake in that, and I don't blame them. You put the effort in reading it. Now overall, I say we had some good action. good little setup sequences, where they're dealing with all the different stuff in computers and technology was really good. There was a scene in the airport I thought was done really well between her, Claire Foy's character, and Lakeith's character in this movie, which I really enjoyed that scene. And then I will say this, the girl who plays the sibling to Elizabeth Salander's character, her name was, of course, Camilla Salander. She goes by the name of Sylvia Hoeks. I hope I'm saying her last name correctly. I really enjoyed her. I will say that she was very intriguing, very just, at times, just the way she carried herself with it all. I mean, just a way of showing how she felt in regards to what she's been through, how strong her vengeance was against her sister for the things that happened to them as kids and to happen to her, and how it was just all this anger and pent up when you see she having that confrontation and she's explaining to her how she feels about the things that happened, how she feels betrayed by her. It was really a good scene. I really enjoyed her. And I can tell you, when I look at her face after I saw the movie, to just pull up some stuff on her, they really changed her look and appearance in the movie, because when you see photos of her and you just, like, I just went on Google, I'm like, she does not look like her character in that movie, whatever. They really did a number on her make or whatever, which was really tricky. She's beautiful, of course, in person, but the way they did her in this one, totally a pair comparison. You could think you'd walking down the street and see another female. You would never know that's her at all, honestly. So you guys check out the difference between the character in the movie and her. You'll see what I'm talking about. Now, overall, Stephen Merchant plays the guy who is originally the NSA guy who's fired, and he's the one that made this particular program called Firewall, whichever. His part was very small, whatever and all, but it added a layer because he has a son that's in this movie, who's kind of like the little math whiz of sorts, and he is the key to them breaking the code. And that was very unique. It was really interesting watching him, do his little part. The little guy who played, the son of him. His name was August in the movie. He was a little just adorable, whichever. And just I love how they gave him that little depth with him dealing with the fact of him losing his father, whichever, and just feeling all alone, doesn't know really who he could trust, whichever. He did a really good job. He's actually a little boy who's on a couple of episodes of Gotham on TV on Fox, whatever. He did a good job on there. So I see, budding career for the little man. So, but yes, overall, it was okay for what it was. Like I said, I really am. I hate to be biased, but yeah, I will always love the ones with Noomi Rapace more than anything. Rooney Mara's one was okay, but let's just say, since they're saying this is a new telling of the Dragon Tattoo, we don't know. Depending on how well it does at the theaters, they might do another one. Now, I can say this for Fede Alvarez doing it. It was okay. I'll be honest with you, this genre, I got to see him do a little bit more to see if it can be more perfected. I prefer him in a horror genre. I like the way he can really put his stamp on it, whatever. So this one being a little bit more of a suspense type of movie, a little bit of suspense thriller of sorts, if you want to call it that. It was okay, but I'm just being really honest with you guys. Just something about it just wasn't, nah. It was okay for what it was. Nothing exciting. If it came on TV and I didn't have nothing to watch, I'd probably watch it. I'm just being straight honest about that. I just feel like it was a little lackluster at times for me, whichever, but if you all see it, comment below, let me know what you all think. Now for me, rating wise, out of a 10, I give it about a 7.5. Like I said, basic cliche type of storyline, not too much action fight sequences with her, so to speak. Wasn't a lot of her being, but there was one particular one, that she's trying to protect, the character, played by August, and of course his father before, his demise or whatever. That was a decent scene, whatever and all, but it was just not like going on. Now for Lakeith's character, his was okay, whichever, at times, whatever. They didn't utilize him so much. He's basically trying to find her to get the laptop, get what he needs from her, whatever and all that, and then probably try to dispose of her in the way of being rid of her so he can get back to, Washington, D.C. to deal, with this situation, whichever. But yeah, it was okay for what it was worth with his character. Mikael Blomkvist, his character was okay, but like I said at the beginning of this review, they didn't give him a lot. You know, he's just trying to pull layers and layers of stuff that Elizabeth gives him to understand what's going on. Of course, he shows up to help her, you know, situate, you know, the situation of dealing with, you know, her past with her family, and then of course dealing with August, whichever, and all that. You know, not too much going on with him. It was just all about this, you know, this being the next story, you know, when all else is said and done, whichever. Besides that, I don't got any more to add to it, you guys. I think that basically tells it, you whichever. Like I said, I already gave my rating. If you guys, like I said, go see it. Let me know what you all think. So, but with that said, you guys, hope you enjoyed the review. And with that said, I'll see you on the next one. You guys take care.